The picturesque coastal town of Knysna and the surrounding Garden Route district are currently facing one of the most severe weather events in recent history. A devastating cut-off low pressure system has triggered an orange level 8 warning, bringing torrential rains, gale force winds, and widespread flooding that has brought the region to a virtual standstill. The storm, which intensified late Tuesday evening and peaked on Wednesday, May 6, 2026, has dumped over 150 millimeters of rain in certain areas within a 12-hour window. Meteorologists from the South African Weather Service, SAWS, warn that some mountain catchments could see totals exceeding 200 millimeters before the system clears. The orange level 8 alert signifies a high likelihood of significant impact, including danger to life, destruction of property, and major disruption of essential services. Knysna's infrastructure is currently under immense pressure. Emergency services have been deployed across the municipality to manage the fallout. Low-lying residential areas, particularly in Concordia, White Location, and parts of the CBD, have reported significant water ingress. Rescue teams equipped with swift water capabilities are on high alert, navigating flooded streets to assist residents trapped in their homes. High winds have uprooted century-old trees, including reports of a massive tree falling near the Knysna Police Station. Debris has blocked several secondary roads, making navigation treacherous. While crews are working around the clock, several neighborhoods are experiencing intermittent power outages as lines are downed by falling branches and lightning strikes. In an unprecedented move to ensure the safety of children and staff, the Western Cape Education Department, WCED, authorized the closure of all schools in the Knysna, George, and Oudtshoorn areas for Wednesday and Thursday, May 6th to 7th. The safety of our learners is paramount, said a spokesperson for the municipality. With roads becoming rivers and the risk of mudslides in the hilly terrains of Knysna, we urge everyone to stay indoors and avoid any unnecessary travel. The Garden Route National Park, a crown jewel of South African tourism, has not been spared. SANParks officials have issued urgent warnings for the Knysna Estuary and surrounding hiking trails. Massive swells and storm surges have made the channel extremely dangerous for any maritime activity. All hiking and mountain biking trails in the Harkerville and Diepwalle forests are closed due to the risk of falling trees and unstable ground. Despite the harrowing conditions, the Knysna spirit remains unbroken. Local community halls have been converted into temporary shelters for those displaced by the floods. Gift of the Givers and local NGOs are coordinating the distribution of blankets, hot meals, and dry clothing. We have seen the water rising faster than during the storms of 2024, says Maria Van Wyck, a local resident. But the way the neighbors are helping each other move furniture and clear drains is the only thing keeping us going right now. The South African Weather Service indicates that while the core of the cutoff low may begin to move eastward by Friday, the saturation of the ground remains a critical concern. The steep slopes surrounding the Knysna Lagoon are at high risk for landslides. The Knysna River and various tributaries are expected to peak late Wednesday night, potentially causing further downstream flooding. Several roads have been closed in both provinces, including the Swartberg Pass between Prince Albert and Oudtshoorn, while homes in some informal settlements have been destroyed on the Garden Route and in Nelson Mandela Bay. The Touw River mouth in Wilderness, along the Garden Route, has broken open, with water now flowing freely between the river and the sea. Elias Sithole, National Disaster Management Head, told IOL, all municipalities drafted disaster management plans and the contingency plans dealing with this specific hazard. Schools across 4 districts in the Eastern Cape and more than 120 in the Garden Route and Karoo in the Western Cape will be closed on Wednesday and Thursday. Between 8 a.m. on Tuesday and 8 a.m. on Wednesday, Port Alfred recorded the highest rainfall by far, measuring a massive 113 millimeters, according to the latest South African Weather Service, SAWS, data seen by IOL. Other areas also saw substantial downpours, including Plettenberg Bay with 92 millimeters, Gqeberha at 85 millimeters, and Gqeberha recording 80.8 millimeters. Robert Sobukwe Town, formerly Graf Reinet, and Patenzi also received significant totals of 79.4 millimeters and 77.2 millimeters respectively. Further inland and along the coast, the rain remained steady. Kariega reported 63.4 millimeters, while Willowmore saw 60.4 millimeters. Addo recorded 56.8 millimeters, Beaufort West measured 56 millimeters, and both Cape St. Francis and George saw totals in the mid-50s. Gqeberha's Coega station recorded 53.6 millimeters. Meanwhile, towns like Fort Beaufort and Buffelsfontein saw much lighter falls, recording 5.4 millimeters and 4.6 millimeters, respectively, during the period. These are the official rainfall figures recorded at stations within the SAWS observational network. According to data recorded by the George municipality's own monitoring stations, rainfall totals have varied across the region, with Uniondale measuring 136 millimeters, Waboomskraal 117 millimeters, Witfontein 76 millimeters, and Wilderness 73 millimeters. However, higher totals may have been recorded in towns or cities outside this network. ESA Weather Service meteorologist Lalo Kleinbooi said, "We have a cutoff low, that is weather system that develops in the upper air, that was over the western part of the country on Tuesday, and it then moved into the eastern Cape. The combination of these weather systems then resulted in widespread showers and thunder showers across most parts of SA. Due to the placement of the weather systems, the bulk of the adverse weather strong to gale force winds, heavy rain leading to flooding, very rough to high seas, snowfall that may be disruptive and very cold conditions is expected over the Cape provinces, while other provinces may mainly experience the cold weather and a likelihood of severe thunderstorms." She said rainfall figures were expected to be explosive along the south coast of the country, with some areas possibly getting more than 150 millimeters within a 24-hour period. Kleinbooi said snow was also expected over the high-lying areas of the Cape provinces, where it could cause disruptions, close more mountain passes, and make driving dangerous. It may also spread to the Drakensberg in KwaZulu-Natal, but only light snowfall is expected there, she said. In the Eastern Cape, rain has already been wreaking havoc since Tuesday night. Several streets in the northern areas and townships of Gqeberha were submerged in water, while pictures and videos circulating online appear to show the VWSA plant in Kariega once again underwater. Spokesperson Andile Dlamini told IOL this was not the case. He said old images were being shared and wrongly presented as current. It is understood the Metro Police have no operational fleet due to fuel shortages, with only 11 commanders on standby. As of midnight, both 93 and 95 octane petrol increased by 3 rand and 27 cents per liter. Diesel drivers have been hit harder, with prices jumping by a staggering 5 rand and 27 cents per liter for both 0.05% and 0.005% sulfur grades. 7 of the Nelson Mandela Bay Traffic Department's vehicles are also without fuel, while 8 are below half capacity. Of the fire department's fleet, 18 vehicles have been topped up and are in use. The contract for the supply of petrol and diesel to municipal vehicles has allegedly expired, with no new contract currently in place. Deputy Mayor Gary Van Niekerk said he was aware of the issues. Some of those issues have been resolved or are in the process of being resolved, Van Niekerk told IOL. I am aware of that. There are no casualties yet, and we are working around the clock to ensure everyone's safety. Some parts of the metro were also left in the dark from Tuesday afternoon due to power interruptions. The municipality has issued emergency notices and opened more than 20 community halls as temporary shelters for affected residents. When it comes to schools, classes in high-risk areas have already been called off as the weather threat intensifies. A memo sent by the department warned that heavy downpours are anticipated. This memorandum serves to advise and instruct all district and school principals on necessary precautions and actions to safeguard our learners and school staff, Education Head Sharon Mosdorp said. A cut-off low-pressure system is currently passing over the Eastern Cape, bringing widespread showers and thunderstorms across the province. Heavy downpours are anticipated, particularly along the south coast and adjacent interior regions, including K-Mouth. The affected areas include Coega, Kokama, Nelson Mandela Bay, and Sunday's River Valley. Flooding of settlements, roads, and bridges, infrastructure damage, and dangerous driving conditions due to slippery roads and reduced visibility are expected, Mosdorp said. In other areas, she said principals must make alternative arrangements for schoolwork and prepare plans to recover lost teaching time once conditions improve. Eastern Cape Education spokesperson Malibongwe Mtima confirmed the veracity of the notice. In the Western Cape, the impact has been more widespread, with more than 120 schools in areas including George, Knysna, and Oudtshoorn set to close over the same period as a safety measure. The bad weather has already begun disrupting daily life in parts of the Garden Route. Some shacks in Concordia, near Knysna on the Garden Route, have already been flooded after heavy rain lashed the area at about 3 a.m. on Wednesday. In George, the municipality announced the landfill site will be closed on Wednesday and Thursday due to expected heavy rain. Residents have also been urged to prepare for flooding, with sand made available for sandbags at several sites, including the Pacaltsdorp Traffic Department and Thembalethu Fire Station. At the same time, SANParks has warned of a high flood risk across the Garden Route National Park, with several hiking trails, water activities, and popular routes temporarily closed. Residents and visitors to the Garden Route National Park are advised to remain on high alert as severe weather conditions increase the risk of flooding across the region, said SANParks spokesperson J.P. Lowe. SANParks said all water-based activities, hiking trails, and several popular routes have been temporarily closed across sections of the park, with some accommodation remaining open but under strict monitoring. All closures remain in place until conditions are declared safe again. Separately, George Municipal spokesperson Chantel Edwards said the learner's license test scheduled for Wednesday in Uniondale has been postponed. Arrangements are being made to reschedule the test at the earliest available opportunity. All affected applicants will be notified of the new date in due course. Western Cape Education Minister David Maynier confirmed that schools in parts of the Eden and Central Karoo Education District will be closed. The schools are closed on Wednesday, 6th of May, and Thursday, 7th of May, 2026, following consultations with disaster management officials and weather authorities. In the interests of learner and teacher safety, and after extensive consultation with the Provincial Disaster Management Centre and the South African Weather Service, SAWS, a decision has been taken to close schools in certain areas, he said. The closures affect all public ordinary and special needs schools in specific circuits identified as high risk due to the severe rainfall warnings. These include Circuits 3 and 8 in George, Circuit 4 in Knysna, and Circuits 5 and 6 in Oudtshoorn. According to Maynier, affected schools have already received official communication from the department and have been instructed to inform parents of the closures. All other schools in the Western Cape will be open unless approval has been granted for closure, which will be done on a case-by-case basis, he said. The department stressed that its default position is always to keep schools open and only close schools in exceptional circumstances, but noted that the severity of the current weather warnings necessitated precautionary action. Authorities will continue to monitor conditions closely in the coming days, with the aim of reopening schools as soon as it is safe to do so. We will continuously monitor and evaluate the situation to ensure that schools can reopen as soon as possible, Maynier said. At this stage, all schools are expected to reopen on Friday, the 8th of May. However, this is subject to change depending on weather conditions later in the week. We will, however, evaluate the weather prediction for the end of the week to determine whether any individual school closures are necessary for the remainder of the week, Maynier added. These closures come after the SAWS issued a Level 8 severe storm warning for parts of the country, which included the Western Cape. On Tuesday, 5th of May, the Weather Service noted that the most serious conditions are expected in the Western Cape, Eastern Cape, and KwaZulu-Natal, where disaster response teams have been placed on high alert. The situation has escalated further along the coast, with the Garden Route expected to bear the brunt of the storm. Severe impacts are possible over the eastern parts of the Garden Route, including George, Knysna, B2, Mossel Bay, Oudtshoorn, with an orange level 8 warning for disruptive rainfall in effect, SAWS said. Such rainfall volumes significantly increase the risk of flooding, particularly in low-lying, vulnerable areas. SAWS warned that impacts could include flooding of roads, formal and informal settlements, which may lead to damage to property and infrastructure. It added that some communities could become temporarily inaccessible, while major roads may be flooded or damaged, causing travel delays and disruptions. The risk of mudslides and rockfalls is also elevated, especially along mountainous routes. Authorities have cautioned that infrastructure damage, livelihood losses, and livestock harm are possible outcomes if conditions worsen. SAWS has urged the public to remain vigilant and take precautionary measures. Listen for regular weather updates via radio and / or social media. Postpone travel arrangements until it is safer to travel, it said. Avoid crossing rivers and swollen streams. Monitor the weather conditions and, if need be, identify areas to safely store valuable items from floodwater, it said.